We are Pro Cannabis Media.
Welcome back to the C Block, our final section of Weed Talk News for this week. I'm Alaina Pinto. A reminder again that the entire news show is available for on-demand video viewing on the homepage of procannabismedia.com. We will start taking a look at the stock market. Tilray is one of the longest running publicly traded stocks in the industry, and many experts see its recent growth as a sign of good things to come. So, what does our stock guru think? Well, he's Doug Miller, and he's high on Wall Street.
I'm Doug Miller from High on Wall Street with this week's Cannabis Stock Report for Weed Talk News. Tilray Brands announced it has received approval for a new medical cannabis extract in Portugal. They also received the first new cannabis cultivation license issued under MedCanG, Germany's new Cannabis Act. Let's see how this affects the stock chart. It's trading around $1.83, and it appears to be curling up and setting up the run. So watch for any dips and trade smart. And that's this week's Cannabis Stock Report. Reporting for Weed Talk News, I'm Doug Miller.
So what's going on in Massachusetts? Well, the Cannabis Control Commission is trying to return to normalcy despite the State House looking at their dysfunctional year. So let's check in with PCM founder Jimmy Young with this week's Bay State Report.
I'm PCM founder Jimmy Young, and this is the Bay State Cannabis Report for Weed Talk News. You know, the summertime always leads to a slowdown of cannabis news around many states, and that includes the Bay State of Massachusetts. The Cannabis Control Commission did have a meeting this past week, and according to Chris Ferrone of the Talking Joints memo, who covers them all, the commissioners continue to wade through micro-license applications and make moves to finally get delivery of product down to just one driver. The commission also is discussing the allowance of nurse practitioners to renew and issue medical cards. So while the threat of receivership is still being considered by the State House, the commission continues to plod through plenty of compliance issues. Seems to me that the summer might be a good time to celebrate just how far the industry has come. On Thursday in Boston, that's August 1st, one of the newest dispensaries in the city of Boston, Firebrand, will have 3 days of a grand opening starting that Thursday, August 1st. Now, Firebrand is located right across the street from South Station, so it's certainly one of the better located stores to open in the city for adult use. There are 3 different festivals in the month of August to talk about in Massachusetts. One is NECANN's Hannah Canna in Boxborough at the Regency Hotel from August 23rd to the 25th. At that same time, Michael Thomason's Infuse Productions is involved with not just one, but 2. One is coming up in Sterling this upcoming weekend, and that, to borrow a phrase from the Woodstock farmer Max Yasgur, 3 days of fun and music and nothing but fun and music.
Absolutely. Charlton, Mass, as we discussed, August 1st through 4th. It is a 4-day, 3-night festival.
You're a glutton for punishment, aren't you?
These guys go all day, all night. There is no stopping the fun at this festival. And we do have a 21 plus area where we do the cup at, and then we have all the other area where there's music, food, fun, dancing, all the other good stuff that come with a music festival. So we let, the people judge it. So anybody who's a ticket holder to the event can buy a judge's pass. That judge's pass then allows you to go meet each one of the vendors that entered the competition and get a free sample from them. And you can ask about the sample, you can learn about how it's grown, you can really engage with who's entering this competition. And I just found it to be a much more fun way to do the cup. You let the people judge it. After all, it is the people who drive this industry. It's the customers. And so I wanted their feedback. So I created an online portal where you can go here to the Homie Collective. You get a scan code that each one of the vendors has their own scan code. And the customer, the judge, would be able to walk up, scan the code, grab the sample, and go online to the voting portal.
That second show is at the Franklin County Fairgrounds in Greenville, where the Flower Expo has held their event for the past few years. Now, that's this week's Bay State Cannabis Report. I'm PCM founder Jimmy Young. Back to Alaina Pinto.
Now it's time for the New Jersey Cannabis Report. Here's Joel Goldsberry.
Hey everyone, it's Jill Goldsberry here with the New Jersey Cannabis Report, and here's what's happening in our neck of the woods. The long anticipated wait is over. New Jersey's officially has its own first minority owned social equity dispensary in the town of Trenton, New Jersey, Simply Pure, with the owner Tahir Johnson is officially opened. He's the first cannabis equity owner of a dispensary. The doors open this weekend and with brand presence and opening day celebrity presence with Harlem rapper Jim Jones on the scene. And Simply Pure has been opened under the tutelage and guidance of America's first Black-owned dispensary owner, Wanda James. So head on over to Trenton, New Jersey and check out Simply Pure. Tell them that we sent you and say hello. In other news around New Jersey's police in the town of Jersey City who engaged in cannabis use are set to be reinstated. This has been going on back and forth for a while. They got the orders to be reinstated months ago. But as of this month, Mayor Stephen Fulop has still refused to reinstate the 3 officers, despite the state mandate to reinstate the officers for unlawful termination. As of today, none have received their jobs back, nor have they received any back pay for this unlawful termination. Jersey City's Mayor Stephen Fulop has not relented on his position that police officers who use cannabis are violating federal law and cannot carry a firearm. The city has fired or disciplined multiple officers for testing positive for cannabis in defiance of the state law, the CREAM law, which is Cannabis Regulatory Enforcement Assistance and Marketplace Modernization Act, which explicitly states that law enforcement officers cannot be fired or disciplined for using cannabis while off duty, and they are not under the influence while on the job. So surely this will be an ongoing case in Hudson County, New Jersey, and we will keep you posted on the latest developments, as this will undoubtedly be a test case for officers around the state. I'm Jill Goldsberry with your New Jersey Cannabis News. See you next week, and thanks for watching.
Once again, summertime impacts the news cycle, and even Thomas Howard has slowed down his weekly cannabis legalization news, but here's his assessment of the end of the public comment period to the DEA.
How many comments did the DEA get regarding its rescheduling? It was actually quite a lot, 43,000. 43,000 public comments on rescheduling, and now they have to weigh them. How long will that take? It could be a while, because it's 43,000, and I don't think that they're going to be using any AI. They may use some AI to read all that data. It'd be a wonderful use case for AI, considering how much data there is, but I don't know if the DEA would want to do that. They did not elongate the public comment period from the 60 days. We don't know whether or not they're going to issue a public hearing. Some of the comments before that deadline passed did ask and request for a public hearing. We'll see if the DEA grants that and believes they have standing. I don't know, 7,500 in the final 3 days. That's pretty ridiculous. 3,000 comments the day after the comment period closed. And did they get down into a breakdown? They do right here. And so 69.3% supported descheduling or decriminalization. So again, there's going to be a snarky DEA comment to that 70% approximately of people that are asking it to go beyond its authority and do Congress's job. We discuss this a lot over at Cannabis Legalization News, and we hope you tune into the live show. And also I have a new one for the entrepreneurs about how to get a cannabis dispensary license. So stay tuned for that. 42% of the comments mentioned the need for federal marijuana reform to advance racial justice. 24% were submitted through public comment tools hosted by United Marijuana for Decriminalization, a coalition, or DPA. Many of the comments were position pieces that regulators, they would publish their comment that they sent to the DEA. Some of them were quite long, and some were from Michigan, some were from Massachusetts. Those regulators, they submitted large public comments. For example, this is the 9-pager that Michigan sent to the DEA, and they snuck it right in there at the last day. But of course, they were preparing their 9 pages, and that's probably one of the reasons why a lot, like almost 18% of the comments happened in the last couple of days leading up to when it closed. But it is closed. So let's hit the high notes on here that in Michigan, there were nearly 300,000 patients and 40,000 caregivers. Now, because they've legalized it, there's only 129,000 qualifying patients.
And finally tonight, does cannabis impact men and women equally? Many studies have been done on how women break down alcohol differently than men, but what about THC? Past studies have shown that because women have different biological differences in body structure and chemistry, they tend to have a more intense reaction to the same amounts of alcohol than men. Well, one recent study in the Journal of Pharmacology shows that women don't need as much THC as men to reach the same levels of intoxication with cannabis. However, females tend to progress towards better tolerance and dependence after initial regular use. The medical theory here is that women's primary hormone of estrogen can influence the metabolism of THC, thus leading to different levels of intoxication. So once again, start low and go slow, ladies, and certainly don't get in a competition for intoxication with men. And men start low and go slow too, right? That's this week's Weed Talk News. I'm Alaina Pinto. Remember, it's a whole new world of weed out there. Use it responsibly. Have a good week. We'll see you next time.
We are Pro Cannabis Media.
Coming up on We Talk News this week, WNBA superstar and Olympic champion Brittany Griner gets busted at a Russian airport for carrying hash oil.
Hi, everyone. I'm Alaina Pinto, and this is Weed Talk News.
Hey everybody, it's Brandon Jones with Big Green Distribution with the Missouri Cannabis Report.
I'm Karen Black from Green Finger Consulting with the Arizona Cannabis Report.
I'm Matthew Friedlander, coming to you from the owner's office here at Skagit Organics.
I'm Amy Carter from Michigan Weedsters.
My name's Tom. You can find me over at Cannabis and Legalization News.
I'm Jill Goldsberry with We Talk News New Jersey, and we are back.
Andrew Behringer here reporting from Washington, D.C.
Our Canadian correspondent with We Talk News, Debbie Fazy with the Canadian Toke of the Week.
I'm Doug Miller from High on Wall Street with this week's Cannabis Stock Report for Weed Talk News.